Hello and welcome to another episode of Trash Talk Podcast, getting closer and closer to number 50 by the week. Stay tuned for that. Top 10 songs from both of us coming up in podcast number 50 is going to be a special occasion. What do we got today for him, JJ, though?
Well, so for the first topic, we're going to talk about logical consistency. And for the halftime show, we're going to talk about Hearthstone. And, well, we'll decide later what we're going to do for the second topic.
Yeah, so...
Well, we do have something prepped, but
yeah,
the first topic seems like
may
the type of
or
thing
may
that
not be a discussion.
might warrant a discussion I'm going to have in the second topic. Also, a fun fact that is not a fact of the week, but that I did want to call out really quickly.
Fact of the day.
Is that in podcast 43...
Mm-hmm. Which is
the last one? That started with... No, probably not. Started with a rant of you of how great it is that it's podcast 42.
Really?
Yeah.
So, did
Yes.
we actually start miscounting?
Yeah, that was...
We need to get back on track on counting our stuff correctly.
Like, it was counted correctly in the videos, but like, I don't know how exactly it worked, but we thought it was 42 when it actually was
But
43.
it wasn't.
Just want to point that out.
Every time we need to start taking notes again, because remember back in the day you would just put podcast number such and such on the screen and we'll write the notes below.
I think it was usually TTP number such and such.
Yeah, but that's what we did. So, and now since we're not doing that necessarily every time anymore, because we typically use the second screen either for nothing at all or for to keep a prediction card up on there or something like that.
Yeah, but the point is, why make those notes when it's usually just anyways, oh, this is the first topic, this is the after show, this is the second topic.
Just so we know what podcast it is. Because right now I don't remember which podcast we released last week specifically. So we always need to keep track in our noggins what number podcast we have. So also, which number is this one? Is it 44?
It should be 45.
Should be 45. Okay, you know what? Yeah, it might be. You know what? We'll look at it. After this is uploaded, we're gonna see how what number this is, and then we're gonna write it down.
Yeah, they have always been numbered correctly in the titles.
Yeah, it's just us not remembering which one it is because it's been a week. So, first topic you said we're gonna talk about logic. So, because we're both somewhat into logic, and we like when logical arguments are made consistently.
We also sometimes just like to argue for argument's sake.
Yeah, specifically I have a pet peeve with people making nonsense arguments that are not consistent at all with their position. Which probably is the case for you as well.
Yeah, also, I just really love the whole thing about, you can point out someone's logical inconsistency to just destroy their argument. Yes. Which, of course, usually just leads to people repeating themselves with the same logical arguments, but, you know.
In that case, it takes a little bit of finesse to basically get them to understand what you're saying, right? But, okay, so let me just explain the 3 basic laws of logic, okay? First, have you heard of that?
Well, you mentioned it before I started the podcast. I have not actually heard of that.
Okay, so the first one is the law of identity, which is just basically states that a thing is itself. So X is X.
Okay,
yes. For example, if you're gonna make a statement, say it's cold, then that means it's cold. That's basically all that law states. Now the second one...
That seems redundant, but I can see how, if you do get into the nitty-gritty, how that might be necessary to be able to point to.
The second one is the law of non-contradiction, which ties into that, saying that, for example, if you're gonna say it's cold, you cannot say that it's warm as well.
Okay.
So X cannot be non-X at the same time.
Yes.
You cannot contradict yourself.
The funny thing is, while I have not heard of this law specifically, I know that by dealing with binary logic and that kind of stuff, that of course all of those are true.
Yeah. And then you probably also know the last one, which is the law of the excluded middle, I believe it's what it's called. It means that it's either X or non-X. There's nothing in between there.
So, yes, this logic is very binary,
Yeah, exactly right. So, you can either say it's cold or it's hot. Of course, there's... On that specific context, there's stuff in between there, but...
I was about to say that one doesn't...
The light is either on or it's off, right? There's nothing in between there.
But that one doesn't really quite hold true to actual real-life circumstances necessarily, but yeah.
Yeah, but for those like kind of factual statements. Something is either true or it is not true the way you state it.
Yeah, of course. You can always say it, but of course if an argument is partially incorrect, you're saying it's incorrect. Which it is.
Well, what do you mean partially incorrect?
So
if there's any incorrect
if there's any incorrect part of my argument
to it, then the argument is incorrect.
Then the argument itself is incorrect.
Absolutely.
Which of course is if you go down to it on a small level, that is of course true.
Yeah.
But of course that also means that if you're making a slight error in your argumentation, theoretically your entire argument can be discarded, even though maybe the actual idea behind it might have been valid.
Well, valid and sound for it to be discussed. But if that's the case, then you need to rephrase it, in which case it would become a new argument.
Yeah, of course. I'm not saying it's generally bad, I'm just saying that just strictly applying those,
you can't say
especially
that
after debate has been held, where you don't have the opportunity to rephrase, could potentially lead to excluding arguments that could have in a different light, maybe.
You can't say that an idea of argumentation is in its entirety not valid or not sound because of one missed wording or one. Yeah, sure, absolutely. I think the most important law that applies in most regular discussions would be the second one, though.
Yeah.
The law of non-contradiction, because that's what people get tangled up with the most, I feel like.
Yeah, you can't say, this is good because X, and then for the next thing say, this is bad because X.
Yes.
Because if X is the same thing, it's either good or bad.
Yes. Unless there's a circumstance between the two contexts where you can point out a specific difference.
Yeah, of course.
Well, okay, so we need to say that. We need to say that correctly. So, you cannot deploy an argument in one context and reject it in another without pointing out a difference in one context that which, if it was present in the other, would justify the same argument for that context.
And also, I'm just gonna throw that out right now because we're probably gonna say something again where the specific wording might be ever so slightly off and it doesn't technically hold. We're just people.
We are not PhDs, man.
This is not edited. We didn't professionally study any of this.
Yes. It's just a hobby, man. It's just a personal interest.
Like, cut us some slack.
Yeah, exactly. If we misspeak, then okay, feel free to correct us, but don't punch us for it.
So, of course, if we say something that is inherently wrong,
point out
our logical flaws and that kind of stuff.
Sure.
But
I'm happy to have discussions. But if there's one misspoken word or something, it's whatever. So I feel like the second law applies the most because people tend to just use arguments that makes no sense that they would not use in other contexts. So one that I mentioned to you before we started the recording is, excuse me, when people argue for something by saying it's freedom of choice. Everyone should be able to decide for themselves whether I want to do it or not. So if you're going to argue that way, then you need to be accepting of that argument, freedom of choice, in any context that you cannot differentiate from the context that you're using in a way that which, if that difference were present in the other context, would justify you treating it the same way.
I think you describing that right now is getting a bit too abstract. Yes. I think we need an example for this too.
Do you got an example?
Let's use the one that we came up with before, where it's like smoking weed, right?
Okay, so
everyone should have the choice.
Yes,
smoke
anyone
weed.
should have the choice to do this and this. Okay.
Right now, by the way, we might be throwing out arguments to analyze those arguments. Also, just because I'm stating something does not necessarily reflect the views of TrashcanTV.
I'm not going to say that. Neither of us are going to assume a position whether we believe it's okay to smoke weed or not. Okay. Or do some type of
trust me, what I'm saying is we're throwing out arguments for argument's sake, and if we actually want to debate a view that we hold, we're going to specify that before.
Exactly. So we're neither right now saying that we're trying to get to a conclusion.
We neither condemn nor condone smoking weed at this specific
smoking
point.
Weed is okay or not okay. We're saying why the argument, it should be freedom of choice, is not a good argument for it. Because if you're going to deploy that argument, you're going to need to accept it in another context that you cannot differentiate. For example, I'm not sure if this completely holds water, but just as a mental challenge, I propose to you rape. Okay? Everyone should be able to decide for themselves whether they want to rape or not. Would you accept that personally in your own subjective morality?
I would not, and of course, just the way
that forces you to differentiate
the way you said it. Of course, yeah, and for me it's easy to differentiate that one because by raping someone, you're infringing on their personal rights.
Right. So
now, of course, I would have to specify rights.
Yeah.
In a moral system first, because I can't appeal to law because that creates all kinds of logical inconsistencies.
So you're saying by smoking weed, you're not causing anyone else any pain, provided that you're doing it by yourself?
Yeah, of course.
You're not causing anyone else any, like,
you're not
mental,
blowing smoke into children's faces.
Yeah, exactly, right. So, okay.
I thought you quit smoking for good. Yes, I did. Now I smoke for evil.
You just quitting. Where was that quote from?
The one I said was from a Silent Happiness comic.
Oh, okay. The one that's just a common saying. So, what was I going for? Okay, yeah, then I'm going to propose, okay, what if you were to rape a coma patient or a corpse? Right? Would you accept that? Because a corpse obviously cannot experience pain, or a coma patient or a mental trauma, cannot take any mental trauma from that occurrence. Saying we wouldn't even inform that person if they were ever brought back that happened.
So, of course, the coma patient there is a touchy subject. The corpse...
In general.
Is also, for some reason, I still believe that the moral value we place in the bodies of the deceased are way too high.
Yes.
Like, it's just a piece of meat. It's like, okay, people that are religious, I can kind of understand that if it comes from their beliefs. I mean, of course.
Yeah.
Religion in itself usually has
flaws
in it.
Religion itself also cannot be justified logically, but that's not
But at that point, at least you have a justification.
Yes.
But it's like, also atheists usually are like, oh yeah, like desecrating corpses and that kind of stuff, that's fucked up, right?
It's just not cool.
It's like, okay, but whom are you doing any harm to?
Well, then, for example, an argument would be, okay, yeah, maybe the family of the deceased.
Yeah, that's the argument you could definitely make, the potential mental trauma to the family of the deceased. Right. But that also then depends on the exact circumstance, because there isn't always a family, there isn't always witnesses.
But what matters more than all of that is always the subjective moral view of the person that you're talking to. So, for example, if I were trying to explain this to you, would you accept that argument in the case of raping a coma patient or a corpse?
Well, I still believe that it's wrong to rape a coma patient, for sure. Again, the corpse, there is a lot of specifics going in there, but I don't necessarily place any inherent moral value in corpses.
Okay, because it's no longer alive.
Yes.
Probably. That's what your baseline kind of is.
Of course, I'm not saying that if someone just, like, I don't know, died of a heart attack and then they could be resuscitated, that there's no moral value in them because they are currently dead. But I'm saying, like, if you're, like, actually proper dead.
Yeah.
Just to differentiate that, because people will be like, oh yeah.
With the coma patient, obviously it's tough and it is absolutely subjective because, well, even the logic community, even law, ethics communities haven't decided on how to treat coma patients, right? So do they have moral value? How does it depend on the state of the coma that they're in? If there is virtually no practical chance of them ever living again, do they still have moral value?
And that one is definitely a bit too tough to argue right now.
Right, because no one knows that for sure.
Yeah.
Right? We still haven't decided on that. So it always depends on the subjective view, though. If you're going to say that smoking weed is okay, because it is also okay to, well, rape a coma patient or a dead person, if it's my choice to do so, then you would be consistent on that specific problem. But for what we're trying to get across,
there's probably other differences in there that you could point out.
Sure, you could point out anything. I mean, you could point it out, but then you need to also agree with the cross-examination.
Yeah, of course. I'm just saying, just because this one counter-argument fell flat does not mean that
you could be saying that smoking weed's okay, whereas raping the corpse isn't, because while smoking weed, you need to have the cigarette in your mouth. Okay, if while raping I need to have a cigarette in my mouth, would that make it okay? Of course not, right? So you wouldn't agree with that. So that's obviously not an argument that would be valid for that.
Yeah, but I'm saying this just because right now you're saying that my argumentation maybe fell flat because of the coma patient does not mean that there might not be a valid distinction to be made.
Of course, there might always be.
I'm just pointing that out so that no one calls out for being like, oh yeah, you just agreed that that's the same.
That's all subjective. You could also be like, okay, I accept it should be everyone's free choice argument in every context, which would lead to absurdity in your position, but it would be logically consistent.
Yeah, of course.
You could be like, okay, yeah, I accept it. If someone decided to murder me because they want to, I would accept that morally, which is insane, but if you're gonna stand by that position, it's consistent.
Yeah, of course.
That way you can take positions for or against basically anything morally because it is subjective.
That's also, I think, a big problem if you're appealing to morals, because morals aren't like a fixed thing, which a lot of people don't seem to get sometimes.
Morality doesn't exist objectively.
Because sometimes people will be like, if you point out something like, oh yeah, why can't you do this, for example, and they'll be like, oh yeah, it's immoral.
Yes.
But you can't just say that as a blanket statement.
Right.
Because there is no objective morality, as you said.
Right, exactly. So, actually, there's stuff like, I used to maybe say that, like, way back when. That's like, oh, okay, that's immoral, without further elaborating on stuff. Probably everyone did that before.
Also saying way back when for us means we're still teenagers.
Like 5 years ago.
Like 5 years ago?
Yeah.
You were 14?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
right.
You know,
exactly.
You don't necessarily expect that type of...
to comprehend all of logic itself, so that's
I'm pretty sure no one does.
Do you have an example for something that you have personally changed your stance on? Because I do. For maybe two things.
So, first of all, the whole drug argument, of course, that we just came up, to go maybe more in detail, I don't see anything wrong with smoking weed inherently. Again, how logically consistent that is, we can discuss at another point maybe.
Yeah, I'm not going to get into that.
But I don't see anything wrong with it, and of course, with demonization by the media and that kind of stuff, when I was younger, of course, I thought, oh my god, that's really bad.
Yeah.
And...
Well, it is bad in terms of health, right? Health effect.
Well, actually...
but health isn't technically related to morality intrinsically.
Also, the actual thing of like, oh yeah, it fucks up your brain and that kind of stuff, mostly doesn't hold water, at least if your brain is fully developed. As in, I think it's... I don't know what the exact age is that they usually throw up as, like 25 or something like that.
Right.
At that point, it supposedly doesn't do anything. Again, there might be studies one way and another.
Yeah. I think we can agree that no weed is healthier than weed for the average person. There's definitely cases in which is kind of based on here, the smoking of weed. For example, for people who are like sick or something like that, they need that, right? As like a pain med or whatever for like, I think PTSD patients can use that, or certain cancers.
Generally, you can use it to, as you said, against pain.
Yeah. Where the smoking of weed causes them to experience more well-being than it causes them suffering in the health department. In which case, it will be a net positive outcome. Also,
one big, talking about weed, health negative, of course, is the actual smoking part, because it hurts your lungs.
Yeah, of course.
And then...
a close related interesting contradiction that a lot of people hold is the weed versus alcohol, right? If you're gonna say that weed is immoral and alcohol is okay, you're contradicting yourself.
As a matter of fact, I believe that for a grown adult, alcohol might be worse on a medical level, yeah?
Yes, alcohol is more damaging than drinking.
And I believe it's also more addictive.
Yeah, possible. And the addiction is harder to quit. Alcoholism typically can't be quit without medical help, or smoking can.
Also, the whole thing about alcohol, you never stop being an alcoholic is the thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, just because you're not drinking anymore doesn't mean you're not an alcoholic. Like, if you take another sip, you just might fall back into old habits. But
exactly.
again,
Also,
I think we're straying.
Also, the longevity of the damage done is rougher because, say, if you stop smoking after a few years, actually, relatively promptly, your lung is pretty much recovered, whereas your liver will always keep the damage from alcoholism. Interestingly enough.
Okay.
That's an interesting fact. How long have we been into the discussion?
We're approaching 20 minutes for the entire podcast.
Okay, so then let me get into one of the things that I have changed my stance on, and pretty closely related, the whole substance abuse thing, vaping. Ever heard of it?
Yes.
So, what's your stance on that? Do you have a stance on it?
Well, basically, you can do it if you want to, but don't do it in my face, right?
Yeah.
Don't blow shit in my face or anything like that. But, like, unless... I generally don't like people smoking right next to me, or vaping right next to me for that matter. But if they're doing it outside of my personal space, like, do whatever.
So, obviously, me thinking back in the day that vaping, okay, it's bad, it's unhealthy, it's substance abuse, whatever. It's like, yeah, you just know smoke. It's like
it is substance abuse depending on what you put in those cartridges.
Right. So, I do no longer hold that opinion because basically, I think vaping is a good thing, specifically in cases for people who used to smoke or are smokers, because it's a much healthier alternative, right?
Yes.
I know a lot of people who've turned to that. It is cheaper. It is much more healthy. The addictive substance in
this is not an ad, by the way.
No, not at all. The addictive substance in cigarettes is nicotine.
Yes.
Which is also about the least damaging substance in a cigarette.
Yeah,
it's itself. I don't think it's itself is a carcinogen, and it's the addictive substance. But just being addicted to nicotine doesn't really affect your body. Of course, no nicotine is better than nicotine, but in such a small degree that, at least for my personal belief, the research is out on that. That there's really no ethical argument in terms of like suffering versus well-being caused to be made there. Same with caffeine. I held a similar stance for a while. It's only been a short span of like 1 or 2 years where I was thinking, okay, caffeine kind of falls under the same thing, right?
Also, as you said, there is not necessarily a moral argument to be made that someone's well-being is necessarily of higher moral value, especially if they personally don't care about it. Like, it's like, okay, I'm doing something that hurts me, but I don't have a problem with doing it, so why should you care, right? Yeah, of course. Again, if you're hurting others, of course, that's a whole different story.
It's my personal choice to do it. Well, everyone should, that argument is of course not a good argument for doing it. But what I was getting at is, I personally would not have a problem with vaping myself as long as nicotine is removed from the equation, because the rest is just water. Actually, with flavoring in there.
Water vapor in your lungs, depending on some circumstances, might actually be good. Like I think if you're having a cold and that kind of stuff, that can actually loosen up all the gooey shit, and then
so just using
helps you cough it out.
Just vaping, erasing the nicotine is absolutely no different in terms of health, and I don't have an ethical argument in that case either, than chewing bubblegum or brushing your teeth, because literally the same flavorings that are used in the vaping substance mixtures, whatever, are the ones that are used in toothpaste.
Well, so the only argument at that point I can make against vaping is just the cost argument, which is also, again, like, you might not want to spend the money on it, but again, like, that's not a moral argument anymore.
But in that case, you could just argue, okay, if you own the money, you are entitled to do whatever you want with that argument, provided you're adhering to moral and legal standards.
Again, I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm just saying, like, generally speaking, of course.
For your personal opinion, of course, you're not going to do it because
it seems like a waste of money.
Of course.
It seems like you're literally blowing money away.
In 99% of cases, not vaping is better than vaping just because of the money argument, but for really not anything else.
Of course, also, then you can make the money argument about pretty much anything.
Yes.
Especially in today's society, which is all about money.
Well, of course you can. But that's never really a moral argument.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? It's not a moral argument, it's just the only argument that I could think of against the way you explain the situation.
Just doing with your money whatever you want, as long as it's legal and morally okay and whatever, that's not a refutable argument. That's just the case. Like, if I were to go and buy a pack of cigarettes, there's nothing... Well... let's pick something less controversial. If I were to
I was about to say, because if you're saying that buying a pack of cigarettes, then you could argue, if you want to argue health, then you're supporting the industry, that kind of stuff.
I was going to go out and buy a broccoli, and whereas you prefer cauliflower, right? There's absolutely no argument there.
First of all, I prefer broccoli, but that's...
Broccoli is better. Fact.
But if I wanted to go into nitty-gritty and do some research, I probably could find some more, like some logically contrived reason to morally argue against you buying broccoli if I wanted to.
Probably not. I would doubt so, but you can try.
Like, it's CO2 footprint something.
Well, I need to live off of something.
Yeah, of course.
And vegetables are probably one of the least environmentally impactful foods to purchase.
Yeah, and then the argument would probably be about the specifics, like, oh yeah, you could have gotten something that was locally grown, but the one you bought was, the cheaper one that's imported from, I don't know where.
Course. Yeah, whatever.
But again, that's not what we're actually talking about.
That's cherry picking at that point, nitpicking at that point. Okay, so you want to go to the halftime show? How much time did we spend?
We are approaching 25 minutes.
Okay, I think that's enough.
Yeah.
Let's do the halftime show, and then maybe we'll pick up on that at some point later in the podcast.
Actually, let's quickly talk about topic 2. Because we haven't quite made up our minds on it.
I think we should just do the topic 2 that we have planned out, and then if we wanted to continue this at some point, because I'm not sure if we can fill out another topic without repeating ourselves too much.
I actually had an idea for a topic 2 that could fit very well within this potentially.
What would that be?
I was thinking about actually maybe establishing like basic moral standards.
Oh, that's tough.
That could then at some later point maybe be argued upon, like. That the thing you said, like choice and...
Maybe we can do that. Maybe we can do that now. So, legality.
Legality itself is an argument that's easily shot down.
Yeah, because by that, if we're using that, then slavery was moral at the point where it was legal.
So, you can't appeal to law in general. The only thing you could potentially try to do is say that you hold a specific legal system from a specific time period as moral, but then that's never the case. First of all, there's always something that you could argue against, and second of all, most legal systems, if you want to look at them as moral agents, or not agents, but like moral guidelines, would probably have logical inconsistencies inherently. So,
maybe a baseline that we can agree on would be the maximization of well-being and the maximum reduction of suffering.
Yeah.
On one scale.
Well, those two kind of go hand in hand.
Yes, that's what I was saying. They're opposites. Non-violence.
Yes.
That's probably also one that...
Although, I'm not gonna argue with someone who wants to, I don't know, do boxing or mixed martial arts.
Well, yeah,
against, of course, right. Because at that point it's two consenting adults fighting each other again.
Of course.
Which actually is also a point... consent in general, like if you're doing something to another person, that person should be okay with you doing that.
Yes.
And basically also the argument of freedom of choice should definitely be in there, although on a lower priority than at the very least all the aforementioned stuff, and probably some other stuff that we have not quite yet thought about.
Yeah. Okay, so you know what? Let's get into the halftime.
Yeah,
well, we can pick that up again.
We should definitely do more of this type of stuff.
Yeah,
maybe
it's interesting.
I mean, of course, we did a lot of the hypothetical and high level stuff, like high abstraction levels.
Yeah.
So if we do this again, we probably should go more into actual, like specific cases,
examples. Yeah.
And then, if anyone's asking about why logical consistency matters, we can just point back to this.
To this, like, the second law of logic. So, get me to the halftime show. What do you have prepared, as if I didn't know what it was?
Well, so...
I have a sip of a soft drink as he's doing it.
As you like
Perfectly ethical cola.
So, as you like to do sometimes with the Hearthstone keyword quizzes... Mm-hmm. You put me through quite a few of those at that point, and I have never returned the favor.
That is true, because it was always typically you who just knows more about Hearthstone because you have more experience.
Yeah, also the recording setup supported that more than the other way around, which, by the way, another side note, we slightly switch on our recording setup, so if there's any, like, sound issues, I mean, you're probably gonna hear that.
Yeah, because I can't look at the screen right now because I'm sitting, like, aside.
I'm saying if there's any acoustic differences and you prefer it one way or another, comments point it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, Hearthstone keyword quiz, and I guess we're gonna start this with the first keyword.
All right.
Makes sense.
I'm looking away. I'm scooting back a little bit, and I'm looking away.
Bark.
Bark. There is a bark skin.
Yes.
All right. Bark. Iron bark protector.
Yes.
There is. Okay, am I supposed to guess how many there are first?
Sure. Do that.
I'm gonna say 6.
Shall I tell you how many there are? 2.
Oh yeah, nice. Got him, coach. Got him. All right. Are you including non-craftables?
I did do crafting, and then I did include uncraftable cards.
Okay.
And I also did show golden cards just so that it wouldn't show them twice, but that's irrelevant for the actual question. The next one is mana.
Mana. There's a few more of those. I'm just gonna estimate 12.
It is actually 17.
Okay, so there is mana worm. There is red mana worm. There is mana bind.
There is no red mana worm because that is not in standard anymore.
Okay, there's mana bind.
There is mana bind, yes.
There's Kun the Forgotten King. Under Druid.
He doesn't show up because I believe he's not there anymore, is he? Isn't he from Gadgetzan?
So all the Jade stuff?
Yeah.
Well, Nourish is still... Is Nourish still there?
Nourish is still there. I believe that's a classic.
Okay. Wild Growth.
Can't confirm Nourish is classic. Wild Growth, yes.
Okay. What else would be there? So Jade Blossom is out, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Alright. Mana.
There's actually one card which mentions it 3 times.
3 times.
Once in the name and twice in the description.
Okay. That's tough.
Just as a side.
Yeah. Man. We have a thought here. This is not as easy.
Do you maybe, I don't know, want a class breakdown or something?
Yeah, give me classes that I'm just missing.
So, of course, you mentioned some druid cards already. There is a total of 6 druid cards.
So how many did I mention?
You mentioned, I believe you only mentioned Wild Growth and Nourish.
Okay.
And you mentioned Kun, who's not in there.
Who's no longer in there. So there's definitely more.
Yes, there is. There is...
Innervate.
Definitely, yes.
How about the coin? The coin.
The coin is not a collectible card.
But counterfeit coin is.
But counterfeit coin was.
It's also out?
That's definitely Gadgetzan.
Damn it. Yeah, it makes sense.
It's also, it has a jade thing in the middle.
Yeah, right.
And everything. I mean, it's not an actual jade card, but...
okay.
Artistically. So there is a few more druid cards. You did mention both mage cards.
Yes.
There is shaman cards.
They're shaman cards.
There is 2 warlock cards, and there's a few neutrals.
Alright.
Which, actually, 3 out of 4 of the neutrals have it in their name.
Greedy Sprite, is that still in there?
That is still in there, yes.
There is definitely some that, like, as a battle cry, give you a mana crystal, and as a death will destroy one or something like that.
That one,
one that gives your opponent the mana crystal.
That definitely, yes. That, is it still there?
I think it is.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, it's the Arcane Golem.
Right.
That's by the way the only neutral that doesn't have it in its name.
How about the? Is it the Snow Fury Giant?
The Snow Fury Giant is indeed in there. Yes,
right.
Costs 1 less for each mana crystal you've overloaded.
Right.
There is also one in a very similar vein about overload.
All right. Is it also giant?
No, it's actually the Spellstone.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Overall 3 mana crystals to upgrade.
The shaman spell, so yeah.
Yes.
Makes sense.
There is 1 more shaman card, there is 2 warlocks, there's 3 neutrals still left, and there is like...
2 warlocks.
And there's still like the druid card that has it 3 times, and a certain druid legendary card.
Druid legend?
Yes.
A druid legend.
Yes.
Alright. I feel like I gotta know that, huh?
Well, let's put it that way. I have that legend.
You have it. Wow.
Okay, anyways, should I just reveal the rest?
Tell him.
So, the shaman card was the Mana Tide Totem. The neutral ones are actually the Mana Addict, the Mana Wraith, and the mighty Millhouse Mana Storm.
Millhouse.
Then we have the Warlock cards, which is Blood Bloom. The next spell you cast this turn costs health instead of mana.
Yeah.
Felguard. Battlecry destroy one of your mana crystals.
Mm-hmm.
And then the 2 remaining druid ones are the Twig of the World Tree.
Twig of the World Tree.
Which is the legend that I mentioned. You were thinking of legendary minions, I suppose. And then there is the Living Mana.
Yeah.
Transform your mana crystals into 2/2 minions. Recover the mana when they die. That's the one that mentioned it 3 times.
Yeah, awful. Okay.
All the mana.
Okay, awful. Next word.
Well.
Living mana.
Guard.
Guard. There is the Gilnean Royal Guard.
There is the Gilnean Royal Guard, yes.
There should be more guards than that.
There is more guards.
Let me say there's like 8 guards.
There's like 12 guards.
There's like 12 guards?
There's 12
There's 12 guards.
Which is very much like 12. Yeah. As a matter of fact, as we previously pointed out, X equals X.
True.
Also, X equals like X.
Yeah,
no.
12 guards. What other guards do we have?
One was actually mentioned somewhat recently.
Was it?
I'm not sure if I actually mentioned it. I didn't mention it by name for sure, yeah.
You did not.
I did.
You did?
Yes.
Is there like some Silver Guardian or something like that?
There is a Silver Moon Guardian.
Silver Moon Guardian, that one. Yeah.
There is also another silver one, actually.
There is?
Yeah.
Alright. Also guard?
Also guard.
Guardian?
Not a guardian, no.
Alright.
I could tell you what the exact word is, but you just have the entire name.
It's like Silver Van Guard or something like that? Yeah.
It guards vans.
It guards silver vans, specifically.
No, it just has floated like a fairy ring, a thing like, whatever, like a Hive Queen. There is definitely another classic one, there's another recent one, there is some class stuff. Do you want to maybe guess class or something?
Yeah,
or
give me a class and I'll try.
Okay, let's start with the one class that has specifically 1, which is Shaman.
Okay. Dude. Is there Murlocs?
Definitely not the Shaman one. Let me quickly look. I don't think there's any Murlocs. Also, I'm sorry if you hear clicking. There is no Murlocs.
There's no Murlocs. That's good to know. It's always good to know. Man, how many guards are there?
Okay, let me quickly... there is 2 Druid ones. Mm-hmm. There is 2 Paladin ones. There is 2 Warlock ones.
Paladins make sense.
And then there is 5 neutral ones, and I already mentioned
there's a Doom Guard.
There is a Doom Guard. And you should also be able to know the other Warlock Guard.
Should I?
Yes. He destroys one of your mana crystals.
Oh. What was his name again? Felguard?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe I mentioned his name in the mana topic thing.
So those are the Warlock Guards.
There is the one neutral from the new expansion, which, if you're holding a dragon, gains +1 attack and taunt.
+1 attack and taunt? Oh man,
it's a 7/3/11.
Wormguard.
Yes.
Wormguard. Mm-hmm.
There is a certain classic taunt who I believe has horrible stats compared to modern taunts, which is the Booty Bay Bodyguard.
Oh, the Booty Bay Bodyguard. Great guy. Get behind
you got the Warlock ones. The Shaman one is the Hot Spring Guardian.
Yes.
The Paladin ones are the Blackguard.
Blackguard
and the Guardian of Kings.
Yeah.
And then the Druid ones are the Bewitched Guardian.
Heard of it.
And the Grizzled Guardian.
Grizzled Guardian also. Oh yeah, Grizzled Guardian. Probably should have gotten the Grizzled Guardian.
Now, here's a tough one. The number 0.
The number 0.
Yes.
Christ. I'm gonna say it's 20 cards.
It's actually only 18 cards.
Alright. So... The number... Is it like any card that has a stat or a mana cost of 0? No. It's only the name or description?
Only name or description. I believe it's only description. I can double check that, but I'm fairly certain it's only description. Because why would it be in your name, right?
Yes.
It is never in the name. It's always in the description.
Always in the description. So it can also show up when it's like 10. Right?
Yes, and that is the exact problem that you had to realize, yeah.
Right. So...
It could also show up when it was 50.
Is it the Twig of the World Tree again?
Twig of the World Tree is in there, yes.
Okay.
It's actually the very first one.
Okay, that's good. I'm going chronological order here.
Okay, then give me the next Druid one.
Yeah. Dude.
The next Druid one might actually be the next one that people would think of if they know that there's a Druid one.
Really? It's not Kun? It's something with 10?
No, there is one with 10, but it's not the next one. The next one is just with 0.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, both of those are ones from the latest expansion.
Really?
Yes.
Druid cards from the latest expansion.
Yes. They're also, more specifically, Druid legendaries from the latest expansion.
Alright.
Which there are only 2 of, so...
What Druid... Oh, damn it.
One of which is a kind of corrupted version of a previous legend.
Alright. Why am I blanking on that right now? Does it see any type of play? Probably not.
No.
That's what I thought.
So that would be the Dusk Fallen Aviana.
Oh, that one, yeah. Also, Mana Bind should be in there again.
And Splinter Graft.
Yes.
Mana Bind is indeed in there, and there's a lot more mage stuff in there as well.
Yeah, that's what I thought. There's Cabal Lackey, there's Kirantor Mage.
There is no Cabal Lackey anymore.
Is that out?
That is also Gadgetzan.
Thank God. There's Kirantor Mage.
There is Kirantor Mage, yes.
Alright, so that's basically everything that makes stuff cost 0.
That is all of the mage stuff that makes stuff cost 0.
Exactly.
With Mana Bind and that. That is also almost everything in total that makes stuff cost 0. There's 3 neutral ones as well, but besides that, it's all that makes it cost 0.
Well, it should be the Cloaked Huntress.
The Cloaked Huntress is also out.
God damn it,
That's from One in Karazhan.
I know all the ones that are no longer in there. Sucks.
You specifically did not want to make this a wild one.
Yeah. Yeah, because I don't know the other expansions, but we could have done the last match.
Well, that's tough to filter.
It's possible, but yeah.
Yeah, you can't just do that as one filter. You would have to switch.
Yeah, true.
That's a pain in the ass.
Alright, so... You know what? Give me some hints, man.
So there is minions being summoned that have 0 attack.
Alright.
There is 2 of those for mage. One of which is a spell, one is a minion.
Oh yeah, it's the Mirror Image and the Ghastly Conjurer.
It is the Mirror Image.
Is it not the Ghastly Conjurer? Oh, it just says
it just adds Mirror Image, yeah.
Right.
Also, I'm not entirely certain. Oh no, that's from Frozen Stone, so it won't be in there, yeah. The other one actually summons 0/1s that have a very interesting death rattle.
Oh, it's a Cindergrossa.
Yes, it is. There is one more mage card.
One more mage card.
It contains the number 10.
The number 10.
Yes.
Wait, okay, so first of all, is there Dino Size?
There is Dino Size, yes. Okay. That is also the only Paladin card.
I also know which what's the Druid legend again? I know what it is. It's
I mentioned it already.
Yeah,
Splintergraft.
Oh, yeah. I just don't remember the effect. Yeah, Splinter Graph. The number 10 in the mage card. Pyroblast.
Yes. So we got Shaman.
Disgusting.
There is 2.
Alright, there's the quest.
Yes.
And, another 10? Or just 0?
There is a 0/1.
There's a 0/1 Shaman card?
No, it does in its effect do something that makes a minion a 0/1.
Oh, Hex.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, tell me the other ones. Let's get to the next one.
Bring It On.
Mm-hmm.
Gain 10 armor. And the Geosculptor Yip.
Yep.
Because it's up to 10.
Up to 10.
And then there is, once again, the mighty Millhouse Manastorm.
Plus 0.
There is Ned Pagel.
Matt Pagel, great guy.
Do you know why there's a 0 in Ned Pagel?
50.
Yeah, 50%. That's what I said. 50 is option. Happy Ghoul.
Yep, cost 0.
Arcane Tyrant.
Cost 0. If you cast a spell.
And Marin the Fox.
Summons, yeah.
0 HS, yeah.
Yeah.
Then we've got Player.
Player.
The game's for the players, man.
Yeah. Lore Walker Cho.
Yes.
Well, Galliwax isn't in there anymore, right? Well, that's not even, that doesn't even say player. I don't think so. Player.
There's also, once again, a recurring card that we've previously had.
Dustfallen Aviana should
Yes.
be in there. It's always like, give each player this and this, or something like that.
Yeah, this one is on each player's turn. Yeah. The Aviana and the Local Cho is whenever a player casts a spell, put a card into other players.
5?
There's 5, yeah.
Got him. But I need 3 more, right?
You do need 3 more. There is another Druid one, and there's 2 neutrals.
2 neutrals.
One of which is a legendary.
A legendary neutral?
Yes, a classic legendary neutral.
Okay, it's not Blinktron, even though that would work, but that's wild. Ah, man. Is it like give each player one of these?
Nope.
Oh, wait, there should be the, no, that's each hero, not each player.
That's the thing, right? You would think that a game would mention players a lot more, but no. It's always like, hero, opponent.
Mm-hmm. Both heroes.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me what it is.
So there would also be the Forest Guide. At the end of your turn, both players draw a card. And there is the Tunglefur Mystic, Battlecry, add a random 2-cost minion to each player's hand. Mm-hmm. And there is no Storm.
Yeah.
Players have 15 seconds to take their turns.
Yeah.
Silver.
Just silver.
Just silver.
Silver Moon Guardian.
Yes.
Silver Vanguard.
Yes.
Let's say there's 9.
There is 12.
There's 12.
And once you realize why, you might be able to rattle off a few.
Possible.
What else is there that would be silver?
Let's think there's Drygul's Jailer.
Yes, there is.
There should be the beast, the guy that adapts to Silverhand recruits.
Light fused Stegodon.
Yeah, then there's
yes, Silverhand recruits is most of those.
Then there's Level Up.
There is Level Up, yes. There's also 2 more Silverhand recruit cards.
Yeah,
just 3 more.
There's a lot more. There's Standing at Darkness. Is it?
No.
Is that out? Maybe that's out.
Might be. That's probably out.
There is the one that summons 2 and the one that summons 3. So Lost in the Jungle.
Lost in the Jungle, yes. The one that summons 3, no.
One summons 4, maybe.
There is actually.
Both out.
There is. The only ones that summon are Lost in the Jungle and one that summons 2 under a certain condition.
Under a certain condition.
Like whenever a certain condition is, whenever something specific happens, you summon 2.
Oh yeah, Vine Cleaver.
Yes. There is one more that interacts with Silverhand recruits directly.
Alright, you can adapt them, you can level them up.
This one is less do something to your recruits, but more like for each recruit.
Yeah, Crystalline.
Yes. There is actually still 2...
Silverback Patriarch.
Yes, that is one of the neutrals. There is one more neutral, and there is 2 more paladin ones that mention it in their name.
Okay.
Both are swords.
Both are swords.
Yes.
Oh man, true silver champion.
Yes.
Is it the new sword, the new weapon?
There is another silver sword. Can you guess what the other silver sword is?
I don't know.
It's silver sword.
It's silver sword. Oh, nice.
Yeah. I love how I just snuck it past you. There is actually one other silver hand card.
Okay.
But it doesn't interact with the recruits.
It doesn't interact with the recruits.
No. It has a squire, though.
A squire?
It summons a 2/2 squire.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, what's it called?
It's a silver hand knight.
Yeah.
There's once you know the card, there's no point in having you guess.
Heard of it.
There's 2 more.
Okay.
Once I ask silver, I of course have to ask. That was
gold.
your cue to say, yeah, gold.
Goldshire Footman.
Yes.
Gold. How many are there? Like 6?
2.
2. So one more.
One more.
Okay, let's go ahead and nail this. Gold, man. Is it wait. Soul of the Gorgon.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, lastly, but not least.
Lee.
No, there's
Leastly.
We got a very beastly one, and that is the
Beast.
bear. No, beast
Bear.
would list literally every single bear.
Bear. Bear shark.
Yes.
Bear shark.
And
how many is there? Like 5?
2.
So there's one more?
Yes. And the bear trap is not in the game anymore. That's
Yeah.
also out.
Is the other card a beast?
No, it is not.
It's
It
not.
is a minion, though.
It's a minion. Bear shark and... This is kind of tough again, right? It's like kind of one of those troll things.
Come on, it's a classic. I believe it's actually a standard. No, it's a classic. It's a classic.
Think. Oh god, there's some pun with a beard or something, I'm sure of it. There. Is it a pun with a beard?
It's not a pun with a beard.
But it is a pun?
Well, it contains the word bear indirectly, yes.
Bear.
I mean, this one is...
Maybe some kind of druid of something that can transform into a bear?
Nope. It's just, it's just one of those unbearable puns.
Unbearable puns?
Yeah, you just can't bear them.
Can't bear them. Oh god.
You don't play enough rank 20, do you?
I don't. What is it?
It's a shield bearer.
Shield bearer.
It's rank 20.
Paul Bear. Christ. Okay.
So that was quite long after
Yeah,
show.
that's okay. So let's get into the second topic. We can make this a bit quicker. There's a list.
Let's actually get into the facts of the week.
Oh, the facts of the week. What's the fact of the week, JJ?
My fact of the week, in a totally non-selfish, self-promoting type way,
Shut up.
is that I've started doing Dungeons & Dragons videos on my channel, and that is definitely going to be a focus in the near future. So I haven't... There was a brief period where I, for about a month, haven't posted anything.
Uh-huh.
Still have more videos than you.
Yeah.
And now I'm posting again. I have thus far, well, depending on... Well, I don't know how many I have out quite yet, because who knows how many I'll record and release right after recording this. But yeah, I've started doing that again.
Right.
Here's
my fact
just want to let people know.
In correspondence to the recent events known as the NFL Draft, my fact of the week is that arguably the best quarterback of the modern era and the probably worst or greatest bust quarterbacks of the modern era were debated to basically be equally as good during their draft in, I believe, 1998 or something like that. There would be Peyton Manning and Ryan Leaf. The Indianapolis Colts ended up picking Peyton Manning with the first overall pick, and he's a Hall of Fame, All-Pro, everything, greatest of all time candidate, and Ryan Leaf was a complete bust.
That happens, though.
That happens.
It's also tough to sometimes
wink,
evaluate...
Wink, Baker Mayfield.
It's also sometimes tough to evaluate how something is going to play out.
Yeah.
The environment changes, the person changes.
The person changes, yeah. Okay.
Sometimes not to the better.
Let's do this, right? So, the Witchwood's been out for a while, and cards have been ranked in stars. 0 to 5 stars. I'm going to name a few cards to you, and you're going to either rank them. You can do your own rank, or you can, probably more fun, pick the amount of stars that were ranked to them by the community.
Well, we can just do both. I mean...
Okay. So let's just start with Archmage Aragal.
So wait, first of all, are we ranking what they did while they were being released, or like now that the meta has been starting to solidify?
I think it's upon release.
Okay, because that's very important.
Yeah.
So that
Aragal
is the one that copies minions, right?
It's the one whenever
you draw.
Yeah, whenever you draw a minion, add a card to your hand. 2 mana, 2/2 legendary mage minion.
Well, I'm gonna say that has probably been rated rather low, because it can be destroyed before it has any effect unless you combine it with card draw right away.
Focus Specters.
And even then, it only draws you like 3.
It's been rated 4.4 out of 5 stars. So rather high.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I think it dies too easily. I would have actually probably also ranked it rather low.
Maybe you can stick it by the mirror image. I don't know. Baku the Moon Eater. You know what it does.
So let's guess that it did also get, like, depending on who rated it, like 4.5 to 5 stars.
It got 4 stars. Flat.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So you're telling me that the mage dude
Yep.
is better than Baku?
Yep. It was ranked that way. Mm-hmm.
I don't think so.
Black Hole Gunspire. It's the 7 mana 3/8 that building with cannons coming out all over it.
Yeah.
Can attack whenever this minion takes damage. Deal 3 to a random enemy.
So I think this might actually be better than it was initially thought of, maybe, because
Well, it's not really good. There's an OTK deck that involves it, but it's not really a good card.
I would say it's been between 2 and 3 stars, because while it doesn't seem that bad, you would have to build an overtime deck around it, basically.
It's ranked at 2.2.
Hey!
So yeah.
Between 2 and 3, that...
Blink Fox.
Blink Fox.
You know what it does.
I do know what it does. It's a 3/3 beast!
And you like it.
It's a 3 mana, and it adds a card from a opponent class. Yeah.
Exactly.
Wording, man.
How many stars?
How many stars? Well, first of all, I personally am going to give it like around 4, which is way too good. And then I assume that it's been ranked like around 3.
It's ranked at 4.4 stars.
Really?
People like it, man. Yeah.
I mean, I like it.
Yeah.
It's basically exclusively good in test decks.
Well, yeah, but that's what it's supposed to be for, right?
Yeah.
Chameleos.
I just didn't think that it could... Oh, God. Okay.
Chameleos.
Oh, God. Like... 1 point something, 2 point something, like 1.785706.
4.4. The same as Blink Fox. Chameleos.
I mean, he's a beast.
Opinions. Well, yeah.
I mean, yes, it's a lot of information that you're getting, which is basically what you're having him for.
Yes.
And potentially to pull something good at one point, but...
Coin.
I don't think he's that good, and I didn't think that other people thought so.
Darius Crowley.
Also, that might be worthwhile later to note where you're getting that data from.
Yeah.
Darius Crowley.
Darius.
I mean, they've been writing stuff good, and he is actually he's actually kind of good. Not meta-breaking good, but 3.75.
3.3.
They don't do too...
Nope, they don't.
Okay, cool.
3.3, which is actually, I believe, a bit lower than it should be, but, okay, so, Darkmar Moonkin. which is the 7 mana 2/8 spell damage plus 2.
Well, I mean, outside of very specific combo decks, this doesn't seem that great, so let's give it 1 mana. Let's give it 2.4.
It's 1.3.
I was gonna go in that era, and then I was like, maybe, I don't know.
Really awful. Dire Frenzy.
Dire Frenzy.
Dire Frenzy. It's not
3.7.
It's a frenzy and a star. 4.5.
Wow.
Huge card. Dire Frenzy.
I mean, yes, with charges it can be really good.
Okay, give me the Duskfallen Aviana.
2.2.
1.7.
Well, that's kind of close.
Yeah.
It's within half a point.
But it's a bad card. It is a really bad card. Face Collector.
3.9.
3.4. Also close.
Also within half a point.
Yeah.
Also half a point too high.
It's true. Okay, let's see. I'm scrolling through the list right now. Gen Greymane. As opposed to Baku, who got 4.0.
I think that Gen was probably rated lower because, I mean, judging by the meta now, there's more Baku than Gen.
Mm-hmm.
What do you say Baku got?
4.
4. So let's give Gen 3.5.
3.6. Pretty damn good. Like, pretty close. Hagatha the Witch.
Like 2?
3.8.
Really?
Yeah. Henchclan Thug. Here's one.
4.5.
3.1. People did not believe this to be good.
I mean, that seems like a no-brainer though, right?
Yeah.
Like for
really
for
good.
Rogue and for Druid, if you wanna go tempo, it's a good card. If you wanna go control, it's still a good card.
Yeah. Okay, here's one. Which one was rated higher? Lady in White or Houndmaster Shaw?
I assume that initially Houndmaster Shaw just might have been rated higher.
Shaw's 3.6, Lady in White 4.5.
I mean, that's fair. Lady in White is probably better.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Lord Godfrey.
Oh god, now you have to help me again. What does he do?
It's a 7 mana 4/4 that deals 2 to all the minions if any die repeats Battlecry. He does the overpowered defile.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Like 3.2?
4.8. This card is good, man. Mad Hatter.
Mad Hatter, like a 1.9.
2.3. That's something at least. Marsh Drake.
Let's give him a straight 4.
It's a 2.8. Vastly underrated. It's a lot better than that.
I mean, I've seen it being played, and I know how they play it.
It's really
they always
good.
just have a small minion on the board, or they just dagger or something like that.
It's really good.
It just works. And again, like sometimes it's like, okay, you have to build a certain deck around that or have to make a certain combo happen, so they didn't anticipate that, but it's like, come on, dagger?
Yeah.
Silverhand Recruit? You didn't see those coming?
Exactly. Pumpkin Peasant.
Okay, Pumpkin
Legend.
Peasant, that's very important. 2.4.
1.9. I think it turned out better than that.
You know why I said 2.4?
Because it's a 2. It
Yeah.
can be 2.4. You can also go to 4.2.
Yeah, but it's not that good, and I know that.
Rotten Apple Bomb.
Rotten Apple Bomb. 3.7.
3.6.
Oh,
Nice.
damn.
Shudder Walk.
Okay, this depends on whether they saw the craziness happen
Mm-hmm.
with the whole Grumble and Chain Gang type thing,
Mm-hmm.
and Life Trigger, of course. Because if not, he's maybe like in the around 3. If they did see it coming, he's probably around 4. Of course, I'm gonna go on the safe side and say I was gonna say 3.5, but then again, there has been a lot of 3.6, so let's go with 3.6.
4.7. They knew it.
They knew it.
They knew it. Spectral Cutlass.
Ooh,
The weapon.
3.2.
1.9.
Really? It's not that bad. I mean,
Also not that good.
I actually run it in my test rogue
I
because
know you do. Speaking of Tess.
Test Greymane.
Mm-hmm.
So, Test Greymane should of course be, I would argue, worse than Shudderwalk, and technically should probably be worse than Baku, but let's give her a 4.2.
4.4. Pretty close. Toki.
Like, 1.
Like 1, it's a 3.3.
I mean, you can get Reggie.
You can get Reggie.
That justifies the entire card.
About to say. Okay, let's do an over-under. 3.8 stars, Town Crier.
Over.
What exact? How much would you ask?
Oh, okay.
Over is correct, but how much?
Like,
I was surprised by this.
4.2?
4.7.
Wow.
That's like the second most popular card, along with Shutterwalks. It's crazy. Voodoo Doll.
Under.
Over. 4.5.
Wow.
Wanted.
Under.
Obviously. Wing Blast. Wanted is 2.1. Wing Blast.
Slightly under?
Over. 4.7.
Okay.
It's a really good card. Witching Hour.
Which does what?
Summon a random friendly beast that died this game. Or more accurately, summon Hadronox again. Which is all that's ever used for.
Like under?
Slightly under, 3.5. Even though it's pretty good. Witch's Cauldron.
Under?
Yeah, 1.9. Not that good. Witchwood Grizzly.
Over, like 4.2.
4.6.
Wow.
Crazy card. Okay, let's do one more Wormguard because you mentioned it.
The Wormguard.
Yep.
It's probably just I'm gonna say slightly under.
It's the exact same, 3.8.
Okay, I was gonna say it's somewhere in that ballpark, but I don't know exactly where.
Exactly 3.8.
If you had me guess an exact number, I probably would have gone with like 3.5, 3.6.
Okay, let's go for the song of the week because I think we're done with this topic.
Yeah.
How long we've been going? Oh yeah, this has been just about over an hour. It's a good point to cut it. Let's go to song of the week. What's the song?
Song of the week is Cyber Christ by Pivot.
By Pivot. Oh, that's that. Where I got that song from?
I do not know where I got that song.
I originally heard that song in a video game that I got once for free with a packet of cereal.
Okay.
You remember when back in the day they had the video game discs in them cereal boxes? I played the video game. It was a racing game, I believe, and they had that song on there.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. My song of the week is While My Guitar Gently Weeps by the Beatles.
Okay, yeah.
Good song.
So, those two work well together.
Yeah, completely, basically the same style and all.
Well, I mean, in my book, they do work well together because I actually like having a varied playlist.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people don't.
Well, they are different songs, but they're both good in their own right.
Like, I hate it when there's like 10 songs back to back by the same band, even if it's a good one. No.
Yeah, some changes isn't always bad. So thank you. That's your high note and a bad musical pun for the end of the podcast. Thank you for listening. Let us know your thoughts on whatever we talked about. What cards are rated too highly? What cards are rated too low?
Oh, by the way, one thing that I wanted to ask you that I did kind of ask you: where did you get those stats?
Oh God, you wanted me to look for that site again? Oh my God, I closed it, man.
Because I feel like that's important.
Jesus Christ.
Sources, we're professional here.
Yeah, bullshit we are. Let me see if I can find it.
Yes, we are bullshit. No, actually we're trash.
We are also trash.
TV.
HearthstoneTopDecks.com.
Okay.
That's where I found it. Okay. JJ.
That's it?
That's it.